watching this, bro. I'm way too tired. Oh, no one watching this. Bro, bankruptcy. This is bankruptcy, man. Probably not. It's bankruptcy. It's bankruptcy. Destroy this YouTuber or this guy. Probably not. Like if you think about it, Johnny Somali, he's literally undefeated. He's literally undefeated. There's no way they're touching him. Like he said, "Oh, touch me," and no one did anything. So let's see how it goes in the next 5 years.
That's what we're going to be finding out in today's video, because I got in contact with an attorney based in Korea who's been very involved with the story and has a way better understanding of how the Korean legal system works. Because after talking to him for about half an hour, I really found out how bad things really are for this disrespectful IRL streamer. So here's my conversation with him.
I've been told by a lot of people here that the international coverage of this issue is significantly helping expedite this. So that's actually a really good thing.
As an attorney, what are your thoughts on how Japan handled the situation? I just wanted to ask you that before we talk about the Korean situation.
Sure. And I'll say this too, and this is like a caveat that goes over everything, but I'll say it multiple times, but because it's important to say. Obviously, I am not a Japanese or Korean lawyer, right? So when I speak about Japanese or Korean law, it's through usually friends of mine who are lawyers in Japan or Korea who have explained it to me, right? And as an American lawyer, obviously, it makes a lot more sense to me than perhaps the normal person because we're used to criminal procedure, civil procedure, etc., right?
Okay.
So when we look at what happens, also as an aside, one of my businesses is helping folks come over to Asia, to Korea, Japan, Thailand. So I am familiar with immigration, the visa process, and what often happens with deportation, right? Which can happen with deportation. So that said, Japan handled this in a very interesting way. So they could have brought more charges against him. It was possible to levy more charges against him. However, what they ultimately ended up doing was saying, okay, we're going to have this one charge, this relatively minor charge, right? You're going to enter into a plea, right? We're not going to sentence you. We're going to release you. You are going to have to leave. But because he was found guilty of that plea, he's now blacklisted for 5 years, right? So he's got a 5-year Japanese ban. So he cannot go to Japan. So right now, one of the jokes that Johnny was saying was, he's going to go to Jeju, which is an island. It's like Korea's Hawaii, right? Even if he went to Jeju on a boat, he couldn't go anywhere because the only options are China, which good luck there, North Korea, or Japan that are right next to us, maritime neighbors. And he can't go to Japan. He's locked out. He's banned for 5 years. So a lot of people think Japan should have gone harder on him, but frankly, they did not have the volume of video evidence that we have in Korea. And Korea, this is something that folks don't know as compared to Japan, Korea has a lot more CCTVs.
Okay.
So there's probably a lot more footage we're not even seeing of Johnny Somali from different angles that he did not stream, because a lot of the footage we're seeing as YouTubers online is from Johnny's perspective during his own streams.
Yeah.
But mind you, every single store in Korea, everywhere you go, there's CCTVs everywhere. And I guarantee you, in this case, the police have pulled a lot of that footage, and they've proven that he indeed has done these things.
Wow. Okay. So you think that things are going to be very different in Korea than what they were in Japan?
Guys, be kind to your cheeks. Manscaped just released their new electric foil shaver and a routine to go along with it. This.
Very, very different. And also the fact is the prosecutors and authorities here are very aware of what he did in Japan.
Okay.
Unlike in Japan, where they really weren't aware of his history or his background or anything else, the judge, when he made a public apology, which he did in Japan, had every reason to believe he was sincere because he hadn't really ever done something like that in another country, another place. After Japan, of course, we all know that he left Japan, and then as soon as he left Japan, he insulted Japan. He showed pictures of the atomic bombs. He insulted Japanese people. He said China #1. He did all those taunts after he left the country. So Korea can look at that behavior and say, well, we don't put much on this public apology, which, by the way, in many Asian countries, right, including Korea and Japan, a public apology can be used to mitigate the punishment, right? So if somebody's done a public apology, they show remorse, right? That can be used to mitigate punishment, and that's also true in the U.S. too, right?
Yeah, but like he already showed proof that he's not remorseful. It's kind of nah. The UK.
When they go to sentencing, showing remorse can be a factor for lowering the sentencing and not giving someone the maximum sentence. So I think when we look at the criminal guidelines, right, and we look at minimum and maximum, right, you have to think, okay, what would be maximum? That would be something that is very aggravated, that's very intentional, that's very willful, that's malicious. What's something that's the minimum? Somebody that did something perhaps where there's a lot of remorse, right? Where it might have been something that was accidental, right? Or there was some mitigating circumstance. And when we look at Johnny, it's closer to the top end of the spectrum than it is to the bottom, right?
Interesting.
Because of his actions, because of what he said. And one interesting thing which I pointed out.
He's basically saying
Out, and this is something that my Korean friends who are very well versed in the law, including lawyers, have told me. Johnny is facing multiple crimes in Korea. So he has this obstruction of business one, which was just indicted on, which means it was sent to the prosecutors, and the prosecutors recommended this for trial. That's charge number one. But the police are still investigating several other charges against him.
how many charges does this nigga even have? Bro, what the hell? Many other? Many other? Bro, does not. Oh my lord. Bro does not have.
Including the drug
He's
use.
not getting out that country alive, bro. He's not getting out that country alive. Other crimes. Once they take him to the prisoners probably know what he does. But the guard will probably tell him, oh, this is the guy who was dissing up on you Asian niggas, bro. He was calling y'all niggas fucking Chinese ass frogs. He was saying y'all look good like his shit. After the guards, you're gonna put lies in there, mix it up with the truth, and boom, this nigga's getting jumped every day, getting back shots from the Korean prison. Actually, I don't know if the prison system, their jail is like the American jail. Getting back shots by the Korean prisoners. This nigga is becoming another nigga's girlfriend, and boom.
Including assault, including deepfakes, including all sorts of other things that people are now reporting. So he can be charged just because he's got this first offense. He can still go through with charges and trials on all of those other issues. And if he's found guilty of this first offense, for the second, third, fourth, and fifth, he will be a convicted criminal. He will be a repeat offender. So when they look at that scale of maximum punishment to minimum, that's going to send it flying to the top because he is now a repeat offender. He's now a convicted criminal.
Okay, yeah, so that kind of brings me into my next question, because there was a bunch of Discord logs coming from their server claiming that
6 years ago, I had it all. 2 years later, I lost everything. Mouth tape.
that some of these charges are been dropped. Has anything officially been dropped yet?
Well, that's always the problem. I wouldn't believe a single thing Johnny Somali or his Discord bros are saying. I mean, obviously, they're going to say a lot of stuff that.
Yeah, because they're in the same thing. Group and shit. So, yeah, of course they're going to say, oh, shoot.
That is
Yo, the Eagles are.
Absolutely